Spring. That's great. Cool. Hello, people. My name is Mohini Dey, and you're watching my brand new talk show, What a Melophile Wants. Now, today I'm going to grab your attention towards a very important thing called leadership and how important leadership is in any band or in any kind of team. Now, a lot of people still think that defining roles individually leads to creating barriers or say levels such as lower, higher, and so on. How much of it is true or even followed in today's times? Today, we're going to go deep on this topic and on a few other elements with a very, very special person, an extraordinary artist who is a 5-time Grammy Award winner. He is an American bass player, record producer, educator at Berkeley, and one of my biggest inspirations and my idol. Please welcome the one and only Victor Wooten. Thanks for coming on my show. Thanks for coming on board. I'm so happy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm honored.
I'm so happy to have you. And it's been a long time since we actually spoke.
It's been a while. Yeah, I think since we physically spoke, one of the last times you were in the U.S. and you
Right.
visited our camp in Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
The
That
last
was
time?
like years ago. Oh my
Yeah,
God. I
long.
met your brother at NAM last year,
Oh, good.
Reggie.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. But I missed you at NAM. I'm sure you would be so busy around
Yeah, I'm
now.
sure we were both busy. I tried to get over and see you because I heard you were at the Mark Base booth.
Yes, I was. I
Yeah.
was at Mark Bass booth, mayonnaise, SID strings, groove gear. Yeah, it was quite a hassle going
Yeah.
from one booth to the other. Everything's like so far away.
Yeah.
Okay, so firstly, how are you and how are you coping up with this COVID-19 situation?
I'm actually doing very, very well.
That's lovely to
I
hear.
I have friends, I have relatives who are either sick or who have died.
Oh,
So that's very, very sad. This virus is affecting many, many people. But
mm-hmm.
there are also some beautiful parts that come along with any catastrophe. There are wonderful opportunities, and I am trying to take advantage of all those opportunities. And my
Totally.
biggest one is that I've been home now longer than I've ever been in my kids' lives. My oldest
Yeah.
is 22, and I've never been home this long in her life. And I've
That
got
must be beautiful.
it's beautiful. I've got 4 kids, and to be home and my wife, we've been married 25 years, but I'm
Lovely.
always gone every month. I have to go.
I
So
can imagine.
yeah,
Must have been hard.
it,
Yeah, that's
it,
amazing. That's lovely to hear. Okay, so speaking about leadership earlier, it can mean different things to different people. I want to know, I want you to tell my listeners, what do you think leadership is to you, and how much of an impact does it make in a band or in any kind of team? And if it's not there, how can it fall apart? What's the bad side of it?
well, leadership is always there. Good leadership is not always there, but
Right.
someone's always influencing and leading one way or the other. But
Hmm.
and leadership is a lot of things. It's not just one thing. It's hard to put one title on it. But one of the things leadership is bringing the best out of others.
Totally.
Yeah, a leadership. A lot of people think leadership is pushing you down so that I can stand on top.
Right, right.
A lot of people treat it that way, but I've worked with a banjo player musician named Bela Fleck
Well, like, yeah.
for well over 30 years now, and
Hmm.
his motto, one of the things he says is he is a leader.
Hmm.
Bela says that he is a leader among equals.
Right,
So he looks at all of us as equals, even though he's the leader.
right.
And he knows that the band, the organization, and the relationship is better if every individual is allowed freedom to be
Correct,
who they are,
correct,
right?
correct.
And at the risk of sounding egotistical, Bela knows that I'm a better bass player than he is.
True.
So why should he always tell me what to play?
Right, right.
It makes more sense to give me the freedom to be the bass player, to use the
Absolutely.
creativity that my ears have taught me. And he's smart enough to do that.
Right. That's amazing. That's a great answer.
But
Now,
Mohini, I will add this. In most situations, it is
hmm,
important and beneficial to have a leader,
yes, very
right?
important. Yeah,
Because
that's why I said,
everyone,
some people think it's just a matter of owning up a band. It's just a matter of controlling people. It's not that. It's like you said, bringing out the best of each musician and using them the right way, what they're good at. Yeah, bringing
right,
out their special features.
absolutely, because
Yeah,
everyone in a group can have good ideas, whether it's a band or any organization.
everybody's
Everyone
special.
can have good
Yeah,
ideas, but it may take
totally.
that one person to bring them
Yeah.
together. And sometimes someone just needs to make a decision.
Yes, yes, yes. That's very important because not everybody can lead, and then it'll just become like this cluster, and then
Yeah.
it'll all be a mess, right? So you're part of so many bands. Speaking of whatever we just spoke about, you're part of so many bands like Bellaflick and the Flecktones, and your band with all your brothers, so many other bands. Has it ever happened when jamming, making songs, ideas clashed? Or say vice versa, in those situations, do you all make a judgment of how do you all make that judgment of, okay, this sounds nice to me, let's do this?
Right. It's
Hmm.
it's it's talking and hearing everybody's idea, even if it's
Right.
a bad idea. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
I'm the leader and
Mm-hmm.
someone says, "Hey, let's try this." In my mind, I might say, "That's horrible. This will never work."
Mm-hmm.
But I will not tell the person that,
Mm. Of
because
course.
if the person hears that enough times,
Mm-hmm.
they will stop giving ideas. And you don't want them to stop being creative, because
Right.
they may give
We
you
want the artistry. Yeah.
exactly. They may
Yeah.
give you 99 bad ideas, but the
Mm-hmm.
100th one might be perfect. But as a leader, you're also a guide, a teacher. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to teach that person that your ideas are no good.
Yeah, true.
You want to teach the person how to keep giving ideas, and after a while, their ideas will grow and grow.
Grow. We
And
all evolve. Yeah.
yeah, but we could squash it down by telling them how stupid their idea is.
True. Yeah.
So, as I learned from Bela Fleck, we try every idea.
Mm.
If somebody has an idea, we don't we don't throw it out or keep it until we try it.
Right. That's
Because
amazing.
what my brain told me was going to be horrible, my ears and my feeling tells me, "Ooh, this is nice." And it may not be nice for this song.
Mm-hmm.
This song over here, yeah.
Right. So
Or
true.
next week we're rehearsing and we go, "Oh, what was that thing you did last week?
Yeah, that could
What's
work
that?"
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't want to
Yeah.
throw anything out.
Right, right. That's amazing. Great answer. So you're such a busy musician, touring, always, like I said before, with so many different bands. How do you find time to practice? Do you still thoroughly practice anymore while touring? And if yes, how was your practice routine like then and now that you have all this time to yourself?
Sure. Well, here's the thing that people don't realize. We're all trying to make it. I
Mm-hmm.
want to get my name out there. I want to tour. Here's the thing. Once you make it, you don't have as much time anymore to practice,
Right.
right? You have time now while you're in school. Like people that are in
Mm-hmm.
school, you mentioned Berkeley. I tell them all the time, all you have to do right now in your life for the next 4 years is to get better at being you, right? You're not, most of these people aren't married. They don't have kids. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have to pay for their house. There's no mortgage. Just practice and learn.
Just
Oh my
practice.
goodness. And then I still see people showing up late for class, oversleeping, not taking notes. I'm like, wait
Yeah,
a minute,
lack of dedication.
lack of dedication, and they're trying to get to this place they claim to love, right?
Mm,
And what you find out is once you're there, you have to maintain being there. So it's
true.
hard to spend 4 hours in a room practicing,
Right.
right? And then
Totally.
get married, get in a relationship, have some kids. I don't have 4 hours a day to go practice when I
Right.
haven't even seen my kids in a month. my wife.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing. I do practice, but most of my practice doesn't look the way we think practice looks. In other
Mm.
words, English is not your first language, but how much do you sit in a room and practice it, right?
Right.
You
So true.
use it, you use it, you find people to talk to. You
Mm-hmm.
might practice, you might get out a
Right.
book, some
Mm-hmm.
audio, but the practicing is small compared to using it. So my musical practice these days is more by doing.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Now,
Right.
it doesn't mean that I don't practice. It's
Mm-hmm.
just what we call practice, sitting down, dedicated, working on this. That's the
Right.
smallest part of my
Right.
musical
Mhm.
journey these days.
Yeah, it could be coming from anything, something you saw, something you heard, something that inspired you on the internet, or somebody
Yeah.
you met. Yeah.
See,
It just kind of transforms.
the thing is that I really do look at music like communicating and talking.
Yeah.
And if something inspiring happens to you in
Mm-hmm.
life, it's going
Mm-hmm.
to change the way you talk.
True.
If nothing else, it will definitely affect the way you
Right.
talk.
Right.
Music
Mm-hmm.
for me is the same way.
Absolutely. So
Right? If,
true.
if something exciting happens, it's going to affect the way I play. So I could be playing better or even differently just because of what happened that day or that week.
Totally, totally amazing. I believe that in every age group generation, there is an evolution, there is a development, sort of evolvement of kinds in all kinds of fields. But over the years, sometimes there is a fundamental change, or if I may say, a paradigm shift that happens. And that seems to be happening on the planet for so many, many years through us, through our languages, through our arts, through our artistry that we have, through our music, with the gifts of life that we have, which is contentment, joy, clarity, enthusiasm, all these things, right? I want to know, how did you evolve? When was the first time you actually realized that, okay, this is what I want to do in life? Did you have any goals set for yourself as a kid growing up, or was it like unconscious decision?
All of the above.
Mm.
Many were unconscious. I mean,
Oh,
the
okay.
way you evolve, the way a human evolves, you can't be conscious of all of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, when you're a baby, you're this tall. All of a sudden, we're this tall. That's an evolvement, but you can't be conscious of it,
Yeah,
right? So there are a lot of it. The thing about life is, and paradigms, they're always happening.
always happening.
Always. The seasons change. We go from winter into spring. We go from spring into summer. Summer, and you don't have to be conscious of it.
Yeah, and I have been seeing this shift happening throughout all of your journey, from
Absolutely.
your first record to till
Yeah.
the last one.
Yeah.
It has evolved, it has transformed into this
Right.
beautiful thing, and I guess that happens unconsciously then.
Well, not all of it. Some
Not
of it
all
are
of it, some
decisions.
of it. Mm-hmm.
All I am saying, it doesn't have to be conscious, but some of it, like in other words, you may find out that wow, it's time for me to make a record. I'm ready.
Right,
What got you there may have been unconscious,
right.
but you become conscious of it, and then you decide what to do with it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a mixture of both. So many things happen in life that the brain is smart. It keeps you unconscious of a lot of different things that
Yeah.
you don't need to waste time. But music, see, I'm the youngest of five brothers.
Mm.
They knew I was a bass player before I was born. Literally.
That's beautiful.
It's so beautiful for me. I'm so lucky, right? They were already playing. Reggie
Yeah.
guitar, Roy drums, Rudy saxophone, Joseph keys. They needed
Hmm.
a bass player. So they already knew. So when I was born, it started with me right away. As soon as I could sit up by myself,
Yeah.
they'd already be jamming.
Hmm.
And you always look up to your older siblings, right? I
Right.
know you have a younger sister, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
Whether we know it or whether you know it or not, she looks up to you,
Mm.
right? Good and bad.
Yes.
Whatever you do bad, she's learning. Whatever you do good, she's learning. And she's learning it faster than you learned it because she has you as an example, right?
Mhm.
So I had four older brothers. Wow. So by the
Wow.
time I could sit up, they would put a toy guitar in my hands, plastic,
Ah.
and they would jam. And I would just sit there and just rock to the beat. So I was learning the same way when your family is talking. As a baby, you're there and you're talking too, right?
Right,
It's
right,
not the right words,
right, right.
but the feeling, the emotion. That's what
Yeah,
you learn first. You learn the
yeah.
words later.
Absolutely. It was kind of similar in my case as well, because I already had my dad playing the bass and my mom singing, so music was always floating in the house. And when I was born, I think it was around 3 years old, and my dad was practicing through his headphones into his processor, like a Boss kind of processor he had. We were not financially very strong at that time, and he would practice through the processor, and he would put the headphones on my ears. And I started tapping the right tempo.
Yeah.
And that's when he knew that, okay, she's gonna be a bass player. And around that time, there were not many female bass players, and he was like, music is only gonna give her happiness and peace, and there's no harm in learning something like music, which is so, it's a beautiful thing to learn. So Dad was like, okay, let me start teaching her, and then it's her choice whether she wants to pursue it as her profession or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how it happened.
you were very fortunate, just like me, just like me.
Yes, yes. And
So,
bases used to just hang on the walls, and I would just play around with it like my Barbie dolls.
nice, sweet,
Yeah,
nice. So you were learning music before you even learned how to play the instrument,
yeah,
right? Just by hearing it. To me, that's the right way.
absolutely.
That's the way we learned to speak,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
just by
Mm-hmm.
hearing it, and then you learn the words later.
True, true, true.
And so, I was lucky enough to have it like that. So I grew up like you
Yeah.
playing, born into a band. I was out gigging and touring at a very, very young age. But I never thought, well, it as like, up until about maybe sixth or seventh grade, I didn't know I was going to be a musician as like my profession.
Ah, hmm.
I had just been doing it my whole life.
Right, right.
When I was young, so let me think. And
And you
so
never even thought about doing something else, right?
well, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
when
you
I was
did?
young, so if I think like kindergarten, first grade, second grade. So
Mm,
in 1971, I'm in the
mm,
first grade, second grade, third grade. Boys at that time, they were going to be policemen, firemen, stuff like that. So that's what I
mm-hmm.
thought I was going to do because that's what all the other boys wanted to do. But every
Okay.
weekend I had gigs. But that
Right.
wasn't a profession. That's just what I did.
Yeah, right.
It's like if you work on the farm or your family is a sheep herding family and you
Mm-hmm.
learn to do that as a baby, you don't plan on growing up doing
Right.
that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You probably, you're thinking something else. But when my older brothers dropped out of college
Mm-hmm.
with our parents' blessing, for certain reasons, they realized college wasn't for them.
Okay.
Um, So Reggie's 8 years older than me. So when he's at college, I'm in the whatever, I don't know what grade. I'm in the sixth or seventh grade or something. But
Mm-hmm.
that's when it finally hit me. Wait a minute, really? We can just keep playing music? That's all I got to do? I'm like, seriously? That's when it really hit. Because we have to remember too, when I was younger, being a musician, a
Yeah.
rapper, or something like that wasn't a big popular thing.
Yeah. Wasn't really supported either.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not by public school.
Right.
Now, by the time I came along, being the fifth Wooten to go through the same schools,
Mm-hmm.
our teachers and our guidance counselors and principals, they started to understand, okay, these boys are playing music. You know, we're gonna quit trying to talk them out of it. We're
Right.
gonna quit. So my teachers weren't telling me to get a real job. have
Mm.
something to fall back on, like they
Right.
told all my brothers.
Uh-huh.
By the
So
time
it's
I
different in
came,
your time.
it was
Yeah.
different. It was starting to be different. And plus, even when I'm in kindergarten, we're playing all the high school proms and dances anyway. But at the same time, they're telling my brothers that it's not a real career. My brother wrote the school song that they still use today
Oh,
in
wow.
Virginia, uh, but it wasn't a real career.
Right. Right.
Now, the high school we all went to where Reggie wrote the school song and the fight song, they have renamed the place where all the music, the hallway where all the band, the choir, the orchestra is now called the Wooten hallway or something like that. The Wooten Music
Wow.
Hall. So
That's good.
sometimes the story with that, and this is what our parents always told us when we were kids, is we
Mm.
need to know who we are. You need to
So
be
cool.
good. You need to be successful, whether the world knows about it or not.
Mm.
And my mom used to tell us, she said, "You boys are already successful. The rest of the world, they just don't know it yet." So a lot of people define success by what other people think.
Or define success by how much money you have.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
And we didn't learn it that way because we didn't have money
Right.
and the world didn't know us, but we were successful, right? And sometimes the rest of the world has to catch up to you. And
Right. Mm-hmm.
so so our parents, they really led us well, and I had older siblings that were like extra parents to help
Right.
guide me. So
Right. 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 So I could say that your major influences were all your elder brothers.
big
Because
time,
that was one of my question, and you just answered. I was like,
big time.
yeah, what could it be?
Yeah, big
Yeah.
time. There's a lot of things that I do, Mohini. There's a lot of things that I do, even on the bass, using my thumb in two different directions, spinning it around,
I
and
was
that
gonna come to that. Yeah.
tapping. This
Hmm.
is my brother Reggie who plays guitar. He's
I know. I
always
can
giving me these
see.
ideas.
I can see. I mean, as a kid
Yeah.
growing up, you were my biggest inspiration and biggest idol. Like the first person who inspired me the most, it was you. And that's when I started working harder and harder and harder day by day, you know? And then I discovered your brother, who is older to you, and I'm like, okay, that's where it's coming from. But
Yeah.
he's doing it on the guitar,
Right.
whereas you're doing it on the bass.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Yeah. He I
yeah.
mean, he taught me chords. You have to think about this. Here's one thing I'm proud of myself for. Because everything musically, my brothers really influenced and taught me. But as a young kid, I was able to learn from all the other instruments. Like my
Mm,
first time in India, I came over with Prasanna. I know you worked with
right,
Prasanna.
right.
Prasanna had opened up a school in
Swarnabhumi Academy in
that
Pondicherry. Yeah.
right. So I went with him to help the opening. We did a few tours, a few dates,
Yes.
sorry, and we were working with uh,
I
Ganesh.
came for one of the shows.
Oh,
I was
really?
so small. I gave you my CD as well. With my father, I came
Oh, wow. I
in
bet I
Mumbai.
still have it. I probably still have it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like really, really young, and I was so scared to talk to you. And my dad was like, it's okay, baby, go, it's okay." And then I went up to you, and I was like, "I'm a big fan. Can you watch my CD? It
Right.
has all my practice videos."
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, one of the things I did, and I've done this as since I was a kid, is I gave my bass to the percussionists. One was
Oh,
playing the gatam, the other the kanjira, and I said,
uh-huh.
"Will you play this like your instrument?" And man, the rhythms. I was like, "Oh my,
Was
oh,
it was
man."
it Karthik? Was it
Karthik,
Karthik?
Karthik, yeah,
And
exactly.
who else?
Well,
Ravi?
maybe was it Ganesh Kumar? I can't remember. Uh, but Karthik,
Yeah.
sure, I can't. Yeah, but wow, blew me away. So as a kid, guitar and bass were the same thing.
Uh-huh.
If Reggie can play chords, I should be able to play chords.
Totally.
Piano, I would give my bass to my brother Joseph. He could lay it
Right,
in
right,
his lap and
right.
play. Immediately,
Wow.
technique. I was like, whoa. So I would learn to do it.
Wow.
Drums. Every little boy wants to play drums, but we
Yes.
already had a drummer, so I learned all those rudiments on the bass.
On the
I
base.
used to learn drum solos. Billy Cobham was a my idol with Mahavishnu Orchestra. I would learn his solos on the bass.
Right.
Saxophone looks like this, right? But if you
Mm-hmm.
lay it down, what's it look like? Yeah, it looks
Mm.
just like what we do. So I could learn from my brother Rudy, who played two saxes at a time,
Right.
right? So I'm thinking, how can I, have two lines going? So it was like tapping again. So
That's
I would
how you
just
started building. Yeah.
absolutely. And that's
Mm.
one thing I'm happy that I was able to do as a really
Mm.
young kid was to be
Right.
able to not see their instrument as totally different, but to
Mm.
relate them to my bass. And that's what helped give me my style.
Right.
So, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. I was gonna ask you, like, all the intricate stuff that you do, all the technique related stuff. Say, for example, phrasing of the ghost notes or synchronization.
Sure.
Um, do you think in time, or do you think in a more harmonic, in the harmonic sense?
Well, for me, probably to a default, probably,
Mm.
it maybe even hurts me some, but I
Mm.
always think rhythmic first.
Yeah, me
Right.
too.
Well, they call us the rhythm section.
Yeah,
Right? They
yeah.
don't call us the note section or the harmony section. In my mind,
True.
I'm supposed to be rhythm first,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I literally grew up making people dance,
Right.
right? In
So.
kindergarten, no problem. In kindergarten, we're playing nightclubs, and people want to dance,
Mm.
right? And they're not going to dance to my harmonic solo.
Yeah, yeah.
If they're going to dance, they're going to dance to my rhythmic solo.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Nobody's dancing to the melody.
Yeah.
Nobody's dancing to the key of the song, right? They're dancing
Yeah.
to the rhythm. And
Right,
the
right,
rhythm is
right.
defined mostly by the bass and the drums.
By the bass and the drums,
And
yes.
James Brown said it, every instrument has to be like a drum. Every instrument, even the vocalist, needs to have good rhythm.
Yeah,
But the people are dancing to the rhythm where it's coming
to the
from the
rhythm.
bass and the drums. And
Yeah.
that's my job. So I think that,
Yeah, you're the backbone. You're not only a part of the rhythm section, but the melodic section as well. You're like
yeah,
part of both the worlds.
you are the backbone. You're right in that place where no one else is.
Absolutely, so true. Being in India as a kid growing up, as an Indian kid growing up here in India, we're culturally so diverse. And you might know by now, all the konako, all the vocal stuff that we do, it's so big in here. And there are different styles of that, there are different categories of that,
Hmm.
right? And I grew up playing with a lot of Carnatic musicians,
Mm.
right? One of them is Prasanna, and there are some other musicians that I grew up playing with, like Zakir Hussain on the
Yeah.
tabla,
Growing up
and
with that, oh, wow, how lucky you are. Wow.
yeah, and when I heard tabla playing like that, I was like, "Whoa, I want to do that on bass." And
Yes.
that's when I
Yeah.
started building and constructing, like you did. You wanted to play drums on the bass.
Mm.
I wanted to play tabla on the bass,
Yeah.
and I started constructing my techniques and studying your techniques, studying so many other drummers, listening to a lot of drummers, and trying to do the same thing on the bass. Started building different kinds of techniques to sound the same on the
Right.
bass,
Right.
right? Obviously, you can't literally sound the same, but because
And that's your gift. That's the beauty.
that's how you find your individuality,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And this comes to my next question, actually. A lot of kids find it really hard to find their originality, find their own sound, find their own voice. Obviously, it takes so many years. Even I'm still in search. It didn't happen consciously. It just keeps happening, right? We evolve, like I said. And the moment you hear an amazing musician, you're like, oh, I want to take that. I want to try that. And oh, it sounds cool. Maybe I can use it this way. I can modify it and probably infuse it with my style,
Mhm.
So how did you, what would you tell my listeners who are trying to find their voice, because a lot of people struggle and they have a huge struggle finding that, I'm copying these musicians and I end up sounding exactly the same. And I tell them that no, you don't sound exactly the same. You can literally never sound exactly the same. You have your own voice and it will sound different, like, right? So yeah, what's your take on that?
I tell people to stop searching for their voice.
Yes,
You already
yes.
have it,
Yeah.
right? And I asked him, I said, when I hear you talk, you don't sound like anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find your voice? How much did you practice your voice? How much did you search for it? And you
Right.
realize you didn't. What you
Yeah.
did do is you talked a lot.
I talked a lot. That's what
A
you
lot.
said earlier. Just it's unconscious practice. It's not even something that you planned for.
You're born with your voice,
Mm.
right? Your
Right.
goal should be to make it better, make it
Right.
stronger, make it more
Make it
pronounced.
stronger. Yes.
The problem is that most of us, not so much you, not so much me, but most of us learn in an academic way
Mm.
that I have to learn the teacher's way
Mm.
before I'm allowed to learn my way.
Mm.
But in your situation and mine, when you're learning to speak, no one tells you what to learn first. No one ever
Totally.
said, Mohini, go practice these words. When you're ready, come back to me. You just
Yeah.
talk. Whatever
Yeah.
you want to say first, you learn first. If you want more milk, you learn more milk. It's up to you. So
Yeah.
the process can help you develop your voice, or it can make you think you don't have it. But you
Mm.
always have it. Those of
Already.
us those of us that think we sound like Jocko or are trying to sound like Jocko, you just sound like someone trying to sound like Jocko.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. But
Yeah.
everyone will know it's not Jocko, it's you.
Yeah.
So what I suggest for people is learn to recognize your voice.
Right.
And most of us can. If we hear a recording, we know it's us.
Absolutely.
Here's the thing, what makes it you? So the same way I might study Stanley Clark, every recording, every
Mm.
Marcus Miller, everything, Jocko, everything, Jamerson, Chuck Rainey, Bob Babbitt. I'm studying every recording. Do the
Right.
same for yourself.
Yes.
Find your recording and then figure out what it is that makes you you. And then you might go, oh man, I like this thing I keep doing. I didn't even know I do.
Right.
Let me work on that.
Right.
And then you can develop that voice, but it's already
Totally.
there. It's already there.
Totally. Totally. Like in my case, I grew up listening to you, Marcus Miller, Stanley Clark, Stuart Ham, and so many other bass players and even drummers, and started picking up all your solos, all other people's solos, and tried to study why you use that. How much of a difference does it make if I don't use that? And just trying to study harder, deeper, and modifying it. And then the more you practice, it just happens one day. You don't even know. It just happens unconsciously. I kept practicing. I was not searching. It just
Yeah,
happened one day that I had my voice.
that's it. That's it. And the thing is that you already had it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't think about that
We don't think about
when we're
that.
young, and we shouldn't be thinking
And
about.
we should be, I think we should be appreciative towards ourselves, because I think a lot of people underestimate themselves that, oh, I don't sound good. I need to do that to sound good.
Right. But a lot of it is the method that we learn, because when we talk, we don't compare our voice to someone else, because
Yeah.
it's not about the voice. It's about what you're saying with the voice.
Right. The
See, we don't
story.
approach that when we're learning music.
Mm-hmm.
We don't ask our students, what is it you want to say?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We just teach you these notes, these techniques, sound like this guy or this girl. Where
Right.
talking is about communicating.
Communicating.
Everything you learn to talk. In other words, when we teach music, we teach you how to sound good.
Mm-hmm.
When we teach you how to talk, we teach you how to communicate.
Right.
When you
Absolutely.
learn how to say this, the person will say this back. then you say this. So
Yeah.
for me, and I'm going to say this, and I don't know if it's the right word, but I would say that we teach music wrong. The purpose of why and how we learn to play is wrong. It's
Mm,
about me sounding good. So I'm
mm.
gonna play these notes, play these techniques. You got to have good rhythm. The job of the bass is to make someone else sound good. It's
Yeah.
not about you. It's not about me. Our job
Mm-hmm.
first is to make someone else sound good. Who's teaching that?
Mm.
No one.
True. No one.
The job is communicating. If I do this, it'll make the audience do that, or you do that. But we
And
focus
and
ourselves.
it'll also make your fellow players interested in talking to you.
Absolutely. But we teach, if I'm a teacher, I'm going to teach you how to sound good. So I
Mm.
have to sound good in comparison of, but no, he sounds better. He sounds better. That's where it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it
Yeah.
never happens with voices.
Right.
Oh, I don't like my voice. I need my voice to sound like your voice. Doesn't happen because we
Yeah.
understand it's not first about the voice. It's about what we're
Yes.
saying with it.
Right, right, right. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful answer. Beautiful answer. Amazing. It was great. We're towards the end of our interview, and one last question, and then we'll play this rapid fire. It's like quick. You have to answer like that. Like
Okay.
5 questions. Yeah. So one last question. Okay, this is taken from like the comment section on some of your videos, my videos. They're
Okay.
like, oh, do you know Victor Wooten? I'm like, hell yeah, he's my biggest idol. And then on your videos, it's like, do you know Mohini Dey? So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask you, of course, that, but I want to know when was the first time you actually heard of me?
Um, I think I had already heard of you when I was in India. When I met,
Oh, okay,
yeah. I don't remember the first time, but I know it was a long time ago.
long time ago.
Long
Yeah,
time ago. You know what?
yeah,
Yeah, when the whole, when we started being able to see each other through videos and
right,
things like that.
right,
Um,
right,
yeah, people, and like you say, there weren't a lot of females out
right.
there, and with
Out
you
there,
being
yeah.
so young.
Hmm.
There was something, and I wish I could remember what I saw or heard about. It had something to do with your dad.
Oh,
Um, and I don't recall, but I know it was a
yeah.
long
I think
time
I
ago
think it was also one of the reasons you got to know me better was I think through persona.
through Persona. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So by the time I met you as a kid, which I'm pretty sure I still remember that you and your dad being there that day. Um, yeah, I knew who you were then. Yeah, I mean I
Yeah.
didn't make a big deal of it,
Yeah.
but
No,
uh,
of course,
but I
of
knew
course.
I
Yeah,
knew. Yeah,
I was so young. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just playing, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Prasanna and I worked before. No, sorry, after that, actually, much after that. And then he told me a lot of stories about you playing the song Raga Bop. Uh,
Song of
oh
nightmares.
God.
We recorded something here at my house, and I forget something on his record, and the time signature was like 23/8 or something.
Oh, yeah, it could be one of the songs from his album that
Exactly.
we
Like,
played.
oh wow, because the Dorico Watson was playing drums, and we were looking at each other like, what? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. His music is quite complicated.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's really fun. It's challenging and it's really fun to play. Um, that's great. Awesome. We're done. Okay. This is the rapid fire round, and my first question to you is: if you could switch to any other instrument, I already know this answer. What would it be?
Drums.
Drums.
Drums first, but again, it's hard to just give one answer. Knowing that my family already has a drummer, other
Yeah.
than that, I would say cello.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can. Yeah, yeah. Totally. I can see that. Yeah. What is the worst compliment you've received so far?
Wow. Um, I mean, oh, wow.
Worst or the best could be fine. Anything's fine.
I mean, there's people just that they don't like it. I don't, you know,
Really?
yeah.
Who?
I mean, everybody has their opinions. You just read comments to
Yeah.
anything you put out
Yeah.
there. Just read all the comments. They won't all be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, you
Any
know,
comment that you remember, which was like, whoa, okay,
um, nothing specific, but I just remember just people not liking
not liking it. Okay.
things, or too technical.
Do that.
That's a good
Oh
one.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. My one was after the show got over. This was not on social media. It was in person. Like
Mhm.
after the show got over, it was one of the best nights. And this guy comes up to me and he's like, "I like your dress." I'm like, after all the hard work I did there, you like
Yeah.
my.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God, that was like one of the worst compliments. I take it as the worst compliment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, describe yourself in 4 words.
4 words.
Hmm.
Um, I am me.
It's three.
That's 3. I am really me.
Oh God.
um, uh, no, but
It's too
I,
many.
I,
Too
I,
many good
yeah,
qualities. Can't. I can't.
I do my best.
I do my best. That's great. Amazing. Tell us something personal that the whole world don't know about you.
If if I could, if money wasn't an issue and I knew my family would be fine, I would stop playing and touring for a minimum 2 years,
Wow.
minimum, maybe more, and
Mm,
just go out in the woods and take people into the woods and
right.
learn about nature. I would change my job to like a nature guide.
That's beautiful. I can totally see that. I remember the time when I came to Nashville and your house and all the surrounding. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay, this is the last one. What's your favorite food?
Uh, chicken tikka masala.
Really? Next time you're coming here, I make it for you.
Please, yes, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Victor. It was lovely having you on
Thank
board.
you.
It
Hey,
was
and
my honor.
it's my honor, and I'll say for you, just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
And
you.
I'm going to share with you something I shared with Prasanna many years ago, because Prasanna went to Berkeley and he was really pursuing being a jazz guitarist.
Mm,
And
mm,
I told him, I said, we have jazz guitarists in America.
right,
What we don't have is an Indian jazz guitarist.
right.
The closest we have is John McLaughlin,
John McLaughlin,
and
yes.
he does a good job, but he's
Yeah,
not from India.
he's not from
I
India.
said,
Yeah,
I told Prasanna, you are authentic. I
yes,
said, don't, don't forsake your heritage.
absolutely.
Bring it,
I love the blend. I love it's so
yes,
exotic.
bring it
It's
into
exotic.
our music. All those little trills and quarter tones, and that's what's amazing because we love people that speak with an accent.
Me
As soon
too.
as I hear you speak English, my head turns. It's English, but not the way we speak it. It's different. So as
Right,
soon as I hear you play bass with your influence, with your heritage, it's
right.
already something special.
Yeah, it's all coming from you, from all the people that I've grown up listening to, and of course my
Yeah.
heritage, the place where I've born and brought up,
Right.
everything, just a good blend.
Yeah. So keep putting all of that into your music.
Totally, totally. Thank you so much. That's really, really sweet.
I appreciate it. Thanks for speaking with me.
Thank you.